Well, thank you everybody for joining us today. Mike Michalowicz, best-selling author, Profit First. Mikey, thank you for joining us today.
Adam, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for coordinating this.
Absolutely. So we are landscape business coaches in the landscape industry. Sarah and I do a lot of the coaching. Sarah does the coaching as well, bookkeeping services. And then we recently became PFPs, Profit First Professionals,
Rock and roll.
under your program, and love it.
It's been great.
It's
Yes,
been real good.
it's been great in our own business and for our clients. So enjoying it very much.
So with that said, dig right in, Mike.
Yeah, so we're here, and I think what we're intended to spend a half hour together or so.
Half hour, 40 minutes.
Yep.
We're up to 4 minutes. Yeah, exploring Profit First. So I thought what I'd do is just share some basics. I don't do PowerPoints. You also, but I do paper points. So I'll just draw stuff out in paper and hold it to the screen. Hopefully that'll work for us. And I thought my intent was a couple of things. One is to share some of the basics with you about Profit First, something that Adam and Sarah could help you further facilitate, but at least give you the groundwork, and invite you to take some action. So the first thing is, I want to share just about myself and why this is so important to me. I am on a personal mission to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. And what this is, and tell me in the chat if you can relate to this, is I suspect the day you started your landscaping business, the world, your friends who have never had a business before are like, oh my God, you're now a millionaire. And all you do is you drive around in a truck and it's just pouring money. Like,
It must be nice, right?
Right.
It must be nice.
But there's this perception of success, but the reality is, for the vast majority of us, like, we're not making much money at all. It is hand to mouth. It's check to check survival. We're working our asses off. So that vision of financial freedom and personal freedom doesn't get manifested. That's what I call entrepreneurial poverty. If you can relate to that, like this, people think you're crushing it and you're fighting for it. Post that one in the chat. Are you been there, done that, or am there and doing that? I'd love to see in the chat. That was my life as an entrepreneur. Was I thought I would be so successful, and I struggled so much, and it set me on this pathway to resolve that, and that's what I want to do for you today. Rick is living that. Rick, thanks for your honesty. I get it. I lived that for about 20 years. Well, in the trying to grow out of it, Richard, I'm with you. Well, I'm going to give you a strategy, the basics that will help you get out of this. I want to ask, and you can post this in the chat if you wish, or just answer in your own mind. Your accountants or bookkeepers, the traditional ones, I'm not saying Adam and Sarah, I'm just saying the traditional ones, historically probably told you, don't look at your bank account ever. Instead, read your income statement, your cash flow statement. Know your balance sheet inside and out, run metrics. There's a thing called the OCR, which is the operating cash ratio, the most critical metric for cash management. Know all these things. And if you do that and don't look at your bank account because it's not reflective of where your business is, you'll know the pulse of your business at any given time. You'll be able to manage your money excellently. And perhaps you've been told that, but maybe use a system that I use. I say, yeah, I get this, but I don't know how to read that stuff. It's overwhelming. The math kills me. I have a better system. I log into my bank account, and based upon the balance I see, I can make one of two decisions. If I have money, I can spend it. And if I don't, panic ensues. I call that bank balance accounting. So I'm curious if you're willing in the chat, for everyone, just post that. Do you do bank balance accounting? Meaning, do you log into your bank account to see if you have money? And do you do it frequently? I was checking in daily. Actually, I was checking in hourly at times, hoping a deposit would come in. And based upon the money I saw there, I make spending decisions. If you do that, just put that in chat. Say, yeah, I do bank balance accounting or check the account. Check this for the webinar, Richard. Awesome. I'm with you. So did I. I checked mine this morning. Rick did that before PF. Bank balance accounting right now. Samantha, excellent. I want to acknowledge, if you do bank balance accounting, that is the best thing you can do. Let me repeat that. If you do that, if you check your bank balance, that's the best thing you can do. And if you're doing that, your business will be very profitable. If we set up a system, Christopher has a kind of head slap. No, I'm telling you, it's a good thing. I'm telling you, it's a good thing. I get it. Traditional accounting practices say never, never do that. And I'm telling you, that's what every entrepreneur does. I had the privilege now of presenting pre-COVID to live events with 1,000 people in the room. And I ask who logs into their bank account honestly, regularly, and every single hand goes up. And I don't care if you're a $500,000 business, a $5 million business, or a $50 million business, because I've talked to them all, even bigger and even smaller. And every business does bank balance accounting, or the vast majority at least. Therefore, it's our natural path. And here's the golden lesson I want to take you to take home from this presentation. If you observe what you naturally do, to change a behavior is extremely hard. To start doing that accounting the right way. But you can channel an existing behavior to get the outcome you want. Meaning, instead of changing you, change the system to get the results you want, and now you're going to crush it. As an example, about 7 years ago, I made a commitment to myself to work out regularly. I've always worked out, but inconsistent and not always doing it. I said, I'm going to start becoming kind of religious about this. But how am I going to do this without changing myself? Well, I observed a pattern I was doing. I'd wake up in the morning. Perhaps you do the same thing. You wake up, get out of bed, go to the bathroom, go make a cup of coffee, drink, kind of start surfing the internet, saying, okay, I'm going to work out in a little bit. And then the time would get away from me and I'd be off to work, skipping a workout. So I looked at my pattern. My pattern was always get out of bed, go to the bathroom, get a cup of coffee. That get out of bed, go to the bathroom was an opportunity. What I did 7 years ago was I put my gym sneakers, I'm from Jersey, so sneakers, some's called tennies or tennis shoes, whatever you guys call it, but I put my gym sneakers on top of my toilet seat. Every time I get up, the only way I can use the bathroom is by now picking up my gym shoes and putting them on. That started the trend, and then I started working out consistently. The opportunity here is to intercept your behavioral path. So here's what we're going to do, and I'm going to show you on my little paper point. How many, just post this one in the chat too. And I just really appreciate you all participating like this. It's very helpful. I think it's helpful to observe each other's patterns and know that we're doing what's normal. How many folks here have what's called a primary checking account? I mean, do you have one major bank account where you put all your deposits in and you pay all your bills from? That's called a primary checking account, or the majority of your bills. So if you have one account where you put your deposits and you pay from Richard using those icons very well, thumbs up, awesome. That's normal. And anyone else have that? I have that for my business. Good. Rick, yes. Okay. Yes, but now implementing PFP. So Nicole knows what we're going to do. I'm going to show you the process. The first little change we want to make, if you already log into that bank account, you're already walking into the bathroom, we got to put the gym sneakers on top of the toilet seat. If you have one primary checking account at your bank and you're going to your bank account regularly, we need to separate out accounts at your bank so we know the intended use of money before we spend it. So here's what I want you to do. And you can follow along by writing this down. What I want you to do is set up 5 accounts at your bank, your existing bank. If you like your existing bank, set them up there. And with this COVID situation, it's actually a little bit easier. You still got to do stupid paperwork and stuff, but you can do it all over email now. So at least you don't have to drive over to the bank anymore. The first account we're going to set up is called income. The second account is called profit. Next account is called owner comp. And I'll show this all on the screen. I'm just going through it quickly. And then there's tax. And the last account is OPEX. So these are, I'll hold it closely to the screen. You can take a screenshot if you want. The 5 accounts we want to set up: income, profit, owner comp. I know my handwriting is not the best there. So it's owner comp, tax, and OPEX. Here's how these accounts work. When money flows into your business now, when you get deposits or payments from clients, we want to put it in the income account. The income account starting today, it's a checking account, is a depository only account. That simply means you deposit money into it, but you never pay a bill from it. That's the key. We just celebrated Thanksgiving last Thursday, right? I hope everyone had a nice Thanksgiving. Did you spend it at home? Was it a smaller group? Post that one in the chat. I'm just curious. Ours was. We usually host at our house. And we have 15 to 20 people, my parents, sister, family, and stuff over. This year was just my wife, myself, and our 3 children. And honestly, it was a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? What happens is when the turkey came out, Samantha, same thing, immediate family. Was it better though, Samantha? What happens is, I used to take the turkey out of the oven last year and I carved the turkey. I don't say, hey, everyone grab a knife and fork. It's everyone for themselves. Let's fight for the turkey. Of course not. That would be absurd. You carve the turkey so that everyone can get an apportionment at their plate. So every guest can eat. Well, we have to realize in our business, there's multiple guests, meaning the money comes in, that cash turkey comes in, but it needs to serve multiple elements of our business. And these are the 4 elements it'll serve. So money is going to come into your income account and get deposited only. And then we're going to, on a percentage-based system, allocate money out to these other accounts. The profit account is money that's reserved to pay you a profit, a distribution, a reward, a thank you for doing something extraordinary. I want you to know, if you're on this webinar and you own a business, you've done what only 7% of the world population will ever do: start and operate a business. That's extraordinary. You've taken on great risk. The value of your business could go up, and that's our intentions, or you could struggle and collapse. Sadly, many businesses do. You've taken risk. You are providing jobs for people. You are hiring contractors. You're buying equipment. You are serving your clients. You're doing extraordinary things. 93% of the world population, employable population, is simply looking for a job. You're a creator of jobs, and you're doing something extraordinary. I own stock in Ford. Not necessarily a stock tip here, but I own 100 shares, nothing big. Ford sent me a stock distribution check. I'll never forget. It was $13.23. I got the check, and when I opened the envelope, I didn't say, "Oh shucks, I don't deserve this, Ford. Here, take the money back. I'm going to refund it." No, Ford. I invested in Ford. The value of the stock could go up or could go down. I took risk. They are recognizing, the shareholders, me, for taking risks. So they gave me that money, and I didn't say, "Oh, I have to go down to the factory floor and see if I can earn this back." I'm a risk taker because I'm an investor. I own stock. And I want you to know, absolutely, 100% clearly, you own stock, and perhaps a lot in your own business. And maybe you own public stock too, but I'm talking about your own business. You own stock. You maybe own 50%, 100%, some percent, but it's a significant percentage of that business. You're a risk taker, and you're taking on all the risk. Therefore, you're going to get rewarded by a distribution. Just like the big companies. Big companies know to keep the shareholders engaged, you must reward them, increase the value, and distribute the earnings. That's your job. It's for your business to pay you. It's different than owner's comp. Chances are you're what's called an owner-operator. Do you work in your business? Meaning, do you manage employees? Do you do dispatch? If you're doing work within your business, that's awesome. I'm curious. Post that in the chat. What kind of work are you doing? Is it the dispatch, or is it the accounts receivable? Is it sales? What is it? But whatever work you're doing, I have another question for you. All the above. Okay, Rick, I'm with you. Elliot, everything. Okay. Elliot and Rick, Jay Garrett, all of you, Samantha, I'm curious. If I had to hire you or replace you, if I had to, or you had to put someone else in the exact role you're serving to get someone to do all you can do, even if you can afford it or not, what would you pay that person? $50,000 a year? 100,000? 200,000? What is the number? And I'm curious if you're willing to keep participating like this, post that in the chat. What, if you had to get the exact you to work inside the business, not own the business, but inside the business, what would you have to pay them? Post that one in the chat. So over 60,000, Elliot says, okay. Mark does scheduling, okay, 55,000, okay. Give me some more. This is very helpful. 75 to 100. Oh God, that poor soul. Yeah, Christopher, I'm telling you, what do you have to pay that poor soul? So I'm seeing 55, 100,000, 150 for a partner team. So 75,000 a pop. Okay. That number you're specifying, $100,000. I think you all are right on. Here's the deal. That's the salary you should be being paid right now. And you don't have to disclose this in the chat, but I wonder if you are. If you're not, your business needs to fix that. We have to pay you. You are the most important employee your company will ever have, ever. So we need to compensate you accordingly. And you just specified the numbers we got to put here. It's different than profit. Profit is a reward for being a shareholder. Owner's compensation is the pay for being an owner operator. And you just determined the appropriate salary for that. Next counts tax. Chances are you started your business for one of two reasons. I hope it's something that you enjoy. Personal freedom can do, the goal is to do what you want when you want, and you get joy out of the work you do. Secondly, I suspect you started your business for financial freedom, meaning never to worry about bills. But the number one largest bill associated with the operation of a business, the ownership of a business, that a business owner is least prepared for is the tax bill. It comes from many businesses once a quarter, depends on your format. You have an S Corp and so forth. Adam and Sarah can walk you through this. But you have that bill coming. And often, and Sarah and I, they can relate, we shoot the messenger. Our accountant comes to us and says, how much, our coach comes to us and says, you got to take care of these taxes. What? The reality is that bill is coming and we're not prepared for it. So you need to prepare and reserve for that. And they can coach you through that process. The last element is OpEx. This is the operations of the business. This is the salary, if you will, for the business itself. So we allocate the money based upon percentages. Now, I'm just going to share random percentages. This is just for an example. I'm not saying these are your numbers. This is where you work with Adam and Sarah to get direction on this. But let's say your landscaping business does, we'll say $500,000 annual. I'm just making up a number. The profit account may be 10% distribution. The owner's comp may be 30%. Tax reserve may be 15%, 3, 4, 5. And that leaves 45% for operating expenses. And please forgive my doctor's like handwriting. I know it's very hard to read this, but that says 500,000, 500K, 10%, 30%, 15%, and then the residual, which is 45%, which means if your business does $500,000 annually, there's a $1,000 bonus check at the end of the year. Adam and Sarah will actually walk you through what's called quarterlies. But there is a distribution that comes to you. There's 30% that's $150,000 that pays your salary. Interestingly, for some folks, that was the number we're targeting, maybe even a little bit higher, right? Tax reserve. I'll tell you, when you're making this kind of money, we better reserve some serious taxes. So $75,000 in taxes is reserved for when tax time comes. And then the delta, the difference, which is, let's see, I got to run the math quickly, 275. I think it's 225. I hope I did it right. Is what's left over to run the business. And what happens is, again, money comes in based upon a percentage-based system. Every allocation day, we allocate money out to these different accounts. Now, here's the thing. People see as operating expense and say, you have no clue what landscaping's about. Who invited this clown? Like, who? Clearly he's from New Jersey because he's mental. Like, no one, and I can make fun of Jersey because I am from New Jersey. So but the OpEx, no one can run a landscaping business off this number. And here's what I want to challenge you to. I want to challenge you to this concept called Parkinson's law. And I think when you understand this core concept, you'll see how you maybe can't get here overnight, but you will get here. And Adam and Sarah will walk you through this process. Parkinson was a theorist from the 1950s, I believe, studying human behavior. And he noticed an interesting phenomena. Contrary to economic belief that demand dictates supply, I mean, the more people that want landscaping services, the more landscapers will come about, and the more landscaping services you'll try to provide. He actually proposed the reverse. He says, as supply increases, demand increases to meet supply when it comes to human behavior. His study was in time. If you are given, listen, say we're negotiating a contract and I'm given 1 week to do it. I say, I'll get you the contract by the end of next week or whatever. I will get you the agreement by the end of next week. If the same people, you and I have the same discussion, but the only parameter that changes is I say, I'll get you the contract by tomorrow morning, I'll likely get to you by tomorrow morning. Nothing else has changed, just the allocation of time. It's human nature when there's less time that we become more efficient in its use. But it's not just the supply of time, it's any supply. I love chocolate chip cookies. I have an addiction to them, cannot stop eating them. If you put one chocolate chip cookie in front of me, I will eat that chocolate chip cookie. If you put 2 dozen in front of me, I'll eat more than one chocolate chip cookie. The greater the supply, the more the consumption. And this is true for time. It's true for cookies. It's true for money. Tell me if you can relate to this. As your landscaping practice has grown over time, as your revenue has gone like this, have you noticed almost uncannily that your expenses seem to track at the same rate? Every time you take a leap forward and there's more revenue coming in, it doesn't seem there's any money left over. There's another outlet where it goes to, you spend it. Does it seem that you can never get ahead of the expenses? If that's true, put that in the chat. Does it seem that revenue increases and expenses increase almost the exact same rate? I see Richard says we're close. Anyone else? I'm just curious. If you've experienced it forever, right, Richard? How long have you had your business, Richard? Absolutely. Christopher says yes. Elliot says absolutely. Yes. Samantha's yes. Christy, yes. I got a great, I'll tell you why, and there's a great solution. The reason that happens is you're a human being, and you just proved it. Parkinson's law is wired into every human being. 25 years. Okay, Richard, we can fix this by tomorrow morning. Parkinson's law is wired into every single human being on this planet. It's wired into me. It's wired into Sarah and Adam. It's wired into you. When the supply changes, our behavior changes, and often it's subconscious. I'll tell you tonight, when you brush your teeth, think of this presentation and what's going to happen. When you brush your teeth, you're going to have two scenarios: full tube of toothpaste or an empty tube of toothpaste. When you have a full tube of toothpaste, you can put it on there. You turn that sink on, the toothpaste falls in the sink. When you turn the faucet on, you just use more of that toothpaste and you brush away. We'll use excessive amounts when it's a full tube of toothpaste. But when it's that shriveled up, prune-like tube of toothpaste, now one little droplet on one bristle hair is adequate. We double thumb grip it to push it out. We twist and turn it. We do all these innovative things. Cut off the back end of the toothpaste tube. A new tube of toothpaste lasts 4 weeks. An empty tube of toothpaste seems to last 4 weeks. And what it is it's human behavior. When there's less supply, when we start constraining supply, our behavior changes. We twist and turn. We become very innovative, and there's also forced frugality. Here's why the system works. And I'm proud to say we have over 350,000 implementations of Profit First right now. There's lots of companies doing this. So you're not the first. What we've seen consistently is businesses start to allocate money to its intended use, and they start to constrain money available in the OpEx. This is your tube of toothpaste here. We start to change the behavior of the business. So as you make these adjustments and start allocating money in, you'll see what's truly available to operate your business. And the moment will come where you can't pay your bills. It's like, oh my gosh, there's not enough money in the OpEx account. Down. If your business can't pay its bills, your business can't afford its bills. If you can't pay your bills, you can't afford your bills. Your business will start to speak to you. If you want to achieve, in this case, 10% profit, if you want to pay yourself the salary you deserve to pay, if you never want to worry about your tax bill, which you shouldn't, this is what the business must do. Your business will tell you the parameters to work within. We are reverse engineering profit in this scenario. Now, there's a lot more toward the system. I just want to share one more tip because I want to leave it to Adam and Sarah to walk you through the implementation of this. I said I have a call to action for you. And I know this is a bold ask, but I think it's important because it'll get you started. Right now, there's quite a few folks listening live. If you are willing, I'm asking you to go on Amazon right now and get yourself a copy of Profit First. And I'm going to be even more bold. If you have a copy, would you buy a second copy right now and gift it to someone that's your vendor or to a client or someone else that can benefit from it? I'm asking for two reasons. This is the most cost-effective, affordable, and impactful way that I can be of further service to you. Adam and Sarah will take it the distance, but the only other thing I can offer you is a book. It is my life's work and it will serve you. I am selfishly asking, though, right now that you do this too, because if you do it, the Amazon engine works that starts marketing the book. So if you get a copy on Amazon right now, the Amazon engine kicks in and starts marketing to other entrepreneurs. Is the greatest way to help me on my mission to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. And I would be very grateful. If you do it, post in the chat. And if Christopher already has it, if you're willing to buy a second copy right now on Amazon, please post that because I want to personally thank you in the chat. And you can get any format you want.
Yeah.
Okay. Great Christmas present.
Yeah, great. It's a great Christmas present. So I'm just asking if you already have a copy to get a second copy. I know it's a bold ask, and I don't know what it is. It's $25. Hopefully, it's less expensive than that right now. But it's the greatest way I can serve you, and it is serving me. As you consider doing that, and listen, if you don't want to do it, don't feel compelled. I just want to be of service to you. I want to share one last strategy with you, and then we can do maybe a little bit of Q&A. As I reveal this kind of system to folks, and Richard, thank you for getting. I appreciate you. As I share this system with people, it can get overwhelming. So I want to share a way that you can get started by tomorrow to be permanently profitable. What you can do by tomorrow morning is to call your existing bank and set up one account, not all 5 accounts. Thank you for getting a copy. Samantha's buying a copy right now. I appreciate you. You are serving me, and I promise it'll serve you further. As you go to your bank, set up one account called a profit account, maybe call it a savings account, and name it profit. Then allocate 1% of your income starting today toward the profit account. Because here's what happens. Say you get $1,000 of deposits today. I'm saying take 1% of that. 1% of 1,000 is $10. I know if you can run your landscaping business off $1,000, you can run your business off of $909. Mm-hmm. That's of no consequence. But what's of big consequence is now you have $10 allocated toward a profit account, cash, cold, hard cash. And I know $10 is nothing, but the impact is tremendous, because tomorrow, when the next $1,000 comes in, we're moving another $10 and the profit account starts to accumulate. Then that profit account, we move from 1% to 2%, maybe 3% over time, 5, 10, 15% over time. And then the whole system gets implemented. Those 350,000 businesses I told you about, most of them started off really slow and they let it grow. That's the other lesson. Start slow and let it grow. You don't start with numbers like this and abruptly shift your business, but we do need to start today. You got to put those sneakers on the toilet seat today to start exercising. We need to set that profit account. So that's my final call to action. Get that profit account set up, allocate 1%, run your business like you do normally. And over time, when you feel it's right, move that 1% to 2%, move it to 3%, and keep allocating to profit. You'll start having cash profit permanently for your business. That's the basics of the Profit First system. And Samantha got a copy of Profit First. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate that. You're serving me. I appreciate it. And everyone else that's doing it, if you're not posting in the chat, I do appreciate you get a copy. It's a big deal for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
Super exciting.
Yeah. Use it. Do it.
That's what's exciting about it. Actually seeing the results and the fruits of those labors that we're putting in and all the risks that everyone's putting on the line, and seeing the impact that it can have not only on a person's business, but their personal life as too, because as an owner operator, it's very personal.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And Rick, thank you so much for getting copies. I appreciate you. What's a big deal is that as we do this Profit First system, I did it for myself 12 years ago. I'm, ground zero for Profit First. I had a business that was doing millions of dollars and I was racking up debt. I was terrified, and ultimately it collapsed. So I had to reinvent how I understand cash management. And I said, well, accounting's not working for me. What else can I do? So I started doing a system. And I did this way I told you. I started slow. I let it grow. I'm happy to say I've been for 12 years. On December 31st, I'll have my 48th consecutive profit distribution. I do it quarterly. And every time it's been greater and bigger. But I'll tell you, the greatest one was my first one. I remember my first time I did Profit First, my distribution, it was $8. I had $16 saved up in the account after a month. And it was distribution time. I took out my 50%, and there's these kind of rules and guidelines, and it was $8. And I remember going to the teller, I said, leave it in singles. I want to fan myself with that, please, with the $8. But for the first time I got a cup of coffee at Starbucks, which by the way, $8 barely buys you a cup of coffee at Starbucks, but that's what I did. And it was the best cup of coffee of my life. I sat there and said, oh my gosh, for the first time ever, I didn't need to use an expense, a debit card, a credit card. The business is gifting this to me. And I savored that cup of coffee. Gosh, I savored it. And it got me going. Saying, oh my gosh, what if this grows? What if this is bigger? And I started going more and more into it, and it's been life-changing.
Mike, can you give us a quick 2 minutes on like a seasonal drip account, how that might work or look? A lot of businesses, are honestly operating maybe 9-10 months out of the year due to an off season.
Totally right. And in the Northeast where we are now, it's starting the slow period right after the fall cleanups, right? A drip account is realizing that even though the business is in existence 12 months of the year, it's in operation only 10 months or 8 months or whatever your season is. Therefore, when money comes in, it's designed to sustain the business for 12 months. So I'm just gonna make it real simple. Let's say you're in business actively operating for 6 months, and in the other 6 months, there's nothing going on. It's just gonna be simple math this way. So say someone gives you $500 today. That $500 needs to cover the business, not just for the 6 months that you're actively doing stuff. It's going to cover you for the entire year. So we carve up that $600, whatever it is, $500 into 12 pieces, which now I'm running the math is what, $40 a month or something. We divide up and it drips back into the business so that even in the off season, when there's no income coming in, the money's been reserved in this drip account is now coming out in portions. So when someone pays you today, it's not for the work you've done today, it's for the sustainability of the business year round. That's the way we see it. And that's what a drip count does.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Do we have time for 1 or 2 questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
You guys got any questions? Go ahead and put them right through the chat.
Share with us what's on your mind, for sure. It's exciting to see all this come together. And I know a lot of users, and we've seen that come through the chat too, that they've started somewhere, right? You got to start somewhere. Just get that ball rolling, and that ball can pick up speed as time goes along.
That's the key. That's the key. I want to share one final thought, because I don't see any questions coming in, which is normal, right? It's like, what do I ask? Where do I get started? So that's common. It's funny. It says, this is almost too simple. Not a lot of questions. That's funny. That's actually what I was just about to talk to, Rick. So thanks for saying that. Is when I teach the system, people say, but this can't work. It's too easy. There's a thing called Occam's razor. It's basically a general theory that usually the simplest solution is the most effective solution. So what it's human nature to do is throw complexity at something. If it's not working, I gotta do more. I gotta analyze more. But it's actually by simplifying it that we have greater results, because now it becomes manageable and controllable. The problem that I see with traditional accounting is it's overwhelmed, so it causes us to give up. Traditional accounting, if you do all those 100 or 1,000 steps, is an accurate, extraordinary system. It is a superior system if you do it. Profit First is a basic cash management system, highly effective, because we'll do it, we'll execute on it. But some people say, but Mike, it's simply a shell game. We're taking money from one account, you move to another. How could this work? The reason it works is because it intercepts our behavioral path. I asked how many people log into their bank account regularly, and many of you, I think, were indicating, I'm checking right now. I check regularly. What this does is channels that behavior. When you log into your bank account, you now see money in its intended use before you spend it. When we see just one clump of money, it's like, oh, I had to get that new piece of equipment. Do I have the money? Yes or no? It doesn't consider all the other requirements put on that money. What about the taxes? What about paying your profit distribution? What about your salary? Those considerations aren't there. It's just the next immediate need. So by carving this money up prior, I call it pre-allocating, to pre-allocate money prior to spending it, its intended use, and we start to work within the confines of it. If you're familiar with the envelope system, that's a old world money management system. It's been around for eons. This is a version of the envelope system. It's just applied a modernization of it, done for business at banks. So it works.
We got one question.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll read it off, and then we got to wrap it up here. Elliot says, it's definitely working. I'm slowly getting better. This will be the first year paying taxes on time, and I bought a new plow this year with the distribution. That's awesome, Elliot. Congratulations.
Yes.
That's awesome. And I'm not surprised. And it's only going to get better. We have to stick with it. So everyone take Elliot's lead. This question came in and says, we are an S Corp, so we get a paycheck from the business, so we can divide up to 5 accounts between personal and business. Does that make sense from business? Yeah. So S Corps, this system works for any formation of a business, from LLC to C Corp to hybrids to nonprofits, all businesses. The thing is, in an S Corp, the tax component has a slight tweak. You're going to have your taxes taken out of your paycheck. You're receiving a paycheck. When that money gets taken out, your business can still pay your taxes. Now, it doesn't do what's called a tax installment, like an LLC can pay the government directly. Does what's called a tax distribution reimbursement. Adam Smith can give you some direction on that. But what happens is the money comes back to you. So your money's coming out of your paycheck for taxes, and then the company once a quarter pays you back those taxes. So it works. Everything should be within business accounts, by the way. I would not use personal accounts. I try to keep it all in business accounts. All right. I got to rock and roll just on timing, but if there's one more question, I think, yeah, let's do that. It's from Richard McCoy. How do you negotiate immediate needs and PFP? It reveals itself, Richard. So you may have experience, I'm not saying you have, but for most businesses I've worked with, and particularly my own business, there's always a new immediate need. There's constantly, we can do this because I'm in this growth mindset. Here's one of the coolest discoveries we've had. Of those 350,000 businesses doing Profit First, the vast majority are growing faster than their competition, which sounds like it makes no sense because we all know it takes money to make money. No, maybe it doesn't. It takes innovation to make money, breaking the industry norms to make money, frugality to make money, innovation. Well, what happens is when we take our profit first, we're going to find is you have to be more selective in the things that you do spend money on. We start allocating money and using it more appropriately. When every penny is available to spend, we spend every penny. When there's a constrained amount, we have to become selective. What really yields benefit? What really works? I'll tell you, a landscaper, that implemented Profit First extremely successfully up in Connecticut. The guy's name is Steve Bosquet. What they did was they noticed that as they started allocating money toward profit, they had less money to spend. Wheelbarrows, they were rolling through this all the time. Guys would throw them off the back of the truck, break a handle, and so forth. He made a simple, innovative change. He had every employee write their name. They were assigned their wheelbarrow. They put their name on it. Just by putting their name on their gloves and their wheelbarrows, no longer were they thrown off the truck because now it belonged to them. Not legally, but it belonged to them. They started caring for their products. They saved, I think, about 10% of their spend a year on this wear and tear that was unnecessary. That innovation wouldn't have come around if he didn't take his profit first. The business told him, if you want this profit, if you want to pay yourself, this is what you must do. It forced him to innovate. And now their equipment lasts a lot longer. I think you'll find that. All right, everyone, thank you for your time. Adam, Sarah, thank you so much for doing it.
Absolutely. Thank you. And
Thank
happy
you.
holidays, Mike, to you and your family and to the team
Likewise.
at Profit First.